Hey there, Heather Boyd Wire here, and welcome to day 6 of the 10-day bead soup challenge. So today I'm going to make some beaded flowers, and they're inspired by a design that I made with kids in workshops many years ago. I used to do a lot of workshops at libraries and schools and even birthday parties. So the kids used to put all the beads on the wire, and then I would help them just to bend the shapes. So what you're going to need for this project are your seed beads, other random beads from your bead soup, your tools. You're going to need 20 gauge wire, and if you want to put it on a leather cord or a cotton cord, I have 2mm cord and my little spring ends. I'm just going to use random colors for this one. You can do a pattern if you want. So I'm going to take a 15-inch piece of 20 gauge wire and just bend the end at an angle just so you don't lose your beads. And then we're just going to start beading. And then what I like to do is to put on 12 beads. Just choose a number of beads that you want to be on each petal. And then they're all going to be more or less the same size depending on your beads. If your beads are all different sizes, you can always measure the length of your petal if that's easier. So either count the same number of beads or measure each side. So I have 12 beads on there. I can measure it just to make sure the lengths stay consistent. That's about 1.25 inches of beads. So I'm just going to hold this one on here, and you actually don't even need the round form. All you do is just like take your thumb and your finger and then just slowly bend it around, and it makes that round shape. And then you just have to hold this in a way that the beads stay firmly in place, and then bend it back, and then you put 12 more beads or 1.25 inches. So now I have 12 more beads, and I checked it and it is also 1.25 inches. And same thing, we're just going to go slowly form it into the petal and then hold that with your nail or your finger and bend it back. So again, we have 12 beads on there, and we're just going to slowly form our petal and bend it back. So here's our 4th petal, 12 beads again, and then we're going to bend it around, and then we just have one more left. Here we are with the last petal, 12 beads on there, and at this point I usually ask the kids in the workshop to do their math and to tell me how many beads are there all together. So comment below how many beads I put in my flower. And so we have our 5 here, and now the idea is we need to bend the wire over and put the middle bead on there. So just bend that one up, and we're going to wind this one around here. So just take this, loosen it up a bit, and we're just going to bring this around to finish the end. And then we want to cut that in there flush. I do have the tutorial for how to make a greeting card with this flower, and in that case you would make a stem with the end. I'll link that up below too. That's a fun one. So we can just stick that one in here, and then we want to take this end and bring it across and put our other bead. So we're going to take this one here and bring it across and put our middle bead. So I like to put an 8mm bead there. This is a cat's eye. I usually bring my special beads to my craft workshops, and the kids can choose one special bead, and then we're going to just stick that one in there, and then just choose which corner you want to wind it into. There'll be 3 on one side and 2 on another. That's fine. So you can just bend it in here. And like I said, if you wanted to make a stem on it, you can use either of the ends to make a stem. But just for the sake of the pendant, we're going to keep it super simple and just cut the end here and just bring it in. And then we can adjust this how we want. If you want, you can wind it through all of the petals to be more secure. I actually did that with this one because the wire was thinner and I wanted to reinforce it. So if you have a stiff enough wire, you don't need to do that. But if you have a thinner wire, you can reinforce it at the intersections. So once your pendant's done, we're just going to put a little jump ring on there. And you can put it on any kind of cord, but a super easy way to do it, and this is also something I did for the kids in the workshops, is I just brought a bunch of cord and you just stick it on the cord. And if you want to make it adjustable, I have a special trick. Instead of tying the knots to make it adjustable, I also have a tutorial about how to do this. So you put the one spring end on first and then take the other spring end and put it in. Sometimes I put a little dab of crazy glue in there, but it's not necessary as long as you can pinch it in well enough and pinch it in a couple places so it's very secure. So this is the fun part. To make it adjustable, what you have to do is actually string it back through that one loop, take this spring end and stick it into that spring end. So make sure it's right to the end. Like I said, if you want to put a dab of crazy glue, go ahead and do it, and then just pinch the end. Just pinch the end in. I usually rotate it again to do another little pinch to make sure it's secure, and then just kind of pinch that in to make sure it looks even and no little ends sticking out. And then you'll see your cord is adjustable. Magic! So there you have your cute little flower on an adjustable leather cord. So if you want to make a fancier flower on a longer wire, this is 22 gauge wire. We're going to start the same way, where we just a couple inches from the end just bend it, and then I'm going to start with smaller beads. So once you have all 5 petals with the small beads, then you could get a slightly larger size bead and do the same thing where you do 5 petals. So I'm going to use these seed beads that are slightly larger. So now I did another 5 petals with slightly larger beads, and I'll do 5 more with even larger beads. So I ended up putting 15 beads on each of these petals. They're slightly larger beads, and I'm going to do 1 more row around. So I went ahead and put 16 beads on each of these petals. These are regular size seed beads, and it just seems to be a good size for the last row. So now we're going to turn this around. I'm just going to bend that so I don't lose my beads, and what you want to do is just put the whole thing together now. So from here I'm going to take this end and just attach it to where the beginning spot here of the amber one. So just bring it through here, through the middle, hold it in place and give it a wind around. So just hold this one underneath there where there's like the little intersection there, and wind it around the bottom there. So just wind it around where those beads meet. Okay, so we've got that one there, so that's perfect. So we're going to bring the red one all the way around here. Just going to put the wire through the intersection where the red and the purple one are, and just bring it around. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing with, we'll bring the purple one around and bring the wire up through the middle again, and we're just going to catch that one at that spot here so it all sits together. And then the green one. So we're just going to bring this one around here, up through that end. So now they're all more or less lined up there. It's a little bit loose, and we're going to need another wire because we've run out of wire. So get another piece of the 22 gauge wire, and then we're going to attach them at the sort of opposite side here. So just take your wire. I think it's good to do them individually at first. 4 rows is a lot. I would maybe stick with 3 rows. It might be easier. So just bring that in the intersection here, and we'll bring it up through the red one. We can tighten this up after. Try to get it right in the intersection where between the petals, and then we want to put it into the purple one. Same thing, bring it up. Just get it attached there, kind of tacking them in place. And the same with the green one. Bring this one up. Stack that up and bring it around. Perfect. So now we've got it done in those places, and then I would choose another spot to do it. You don't necessarily have to do it in all 5 spots, but probably at least 3 would be good to get it solid. So let's just make sure this is sort of in the position that we want and bring it up through the amber one. So we're just going to bring it through there. You might even be able to put it through all of the layers at once. I'm just going one by one, but for now, just to be a little more careful with it. So we're going to bring that one in here, and then we'll bring it up through the red one. Make sure those intersections line up. Bring it through the red one, and then up through the purple one. Same thing, make sure those intersections line up. So it's almost like we're sewing them in place. And then the last one, the green one. So we're going to bring that one around here. Don't worry too much what the back looks like because it's going to be underneath. So now we have it attached in 3 places. If there's some little ends you want to like cut off, like if they're not necessary to do more winding, just bend them around a couple of times and cut them off. Here too, where we added the other wire, you can just bend it around. Here's sort of the leftover from the green one where we started. So that one too, you can just take it, wind it around, and clip it off. And then you have this one here, that's a little extra one as well. So you can go ahead and just bring that one down to the back, bend it around, and then just trim it. So now we only have one end, and that's going to be to add the middle bead. If you want, you can just bring it around to the back to another one of the intersections to pull it all together. So you can just go through all of them at the same time too, whatever works well. And then we want to find a bead for the middle. So I'm going to put a fancy gold bead in the middle. We're just going to stick that one in there. Looks like it's about 8 to 10 millimeters. We can just bring this one around to the back. And we still have this edge that can be pulled in a little bit. So what you can do for that, you could just go under this wire here and pull it just to catch it in a little bit. We're just going to tighten the whole thing up. So that brings it in a little bit. Like I said, it's kind of like sewing it, and then this is the only end that's loose now, so we can go ahead and bring that one in, bring the wire through the intersection right there, and then we can just bring it down through the just beside the bead through the middle there. Make sure it goes through sort of the intersections of all those petals. Flip it over, catch the end, and bring it back up. Careful not to snap the beads. Best way to finish it off is just to like pull it back through one of those wires and twist it up, and then bend it over and clip it. So you just have to have the end wound around a little bit to hold it in place. And then you have this really cool configuration, and at that point you can mold it how you like. So you can go around, you can make some of the petals larger, just bring them out a little bit, push them out. I could have done even more variations of sizes for these. It would have been cool. And rather than have them one on top of each other, you can like bend them a little bit to one side to like rotate it a little bit and staggered them a little bit. So there's a little bit more variety. So this, at this point, this is where you get fancy. This is where you do your adjustments and just play around with it. And like I said, I might have better just done 3 rows of petals instead of 4, but the 4 is cool. It gives it a little bit more texture, a little bit more depth. And you could bend these up so they're a little bit more 3-dimensional. That's going to be fun too. So just make it a little bit more 3-dimensional, play around with it, and I'm sure you guys will come up with some amazing 3D flowers. So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more DIY wire art and jewelry making videos. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live and when I post new videos. And if you'd like to share photos of your wire work, be sure to join the Wire Makers Club on Facebook. And if you'd like to check out my wire work on Etsy, my husband and I specialize in custom wedding cake toppers and funky jewelry. I also have a mailing list, so if you'd like to sign up below to my mailing list, I'll send you my free Wire Art Essentials ebook. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you the next time.